But that's just the door. Think of all you can store in here on these...
The 1940s was a decade of gadgets that seemed downright alien today. Back then, everyday life revolved around practical, durable, and often a little quirky items. From crank-style phones to iceboxes, these relics of the past were essential, even if they'd leave modern kids scratching their heads. So, which of these forgotten treasures would completely stump today's generation? Join us as we dive into 30 things from the 1940s we use daily that kids today wouldn't recognize. A timeless emblem of pre-modern laundry practices, the washboard was a necessary tool and a testament to ingenuity. Crafted from sturdy wood and corrugated metal ridges, it transformed the back-breaking labor of scrubbing into a rhythmic, almost meditative ritual. Homemakers and laundresses would hunch over basins, their hands chapped and calloused from relentless soap and water.
We put the soap on the washboard, a lot of elbow grease to get the dirt out.
And then the clothes were hung out to dry.
Tirelessly coaxing garments back to freshness. But it wasn't just about cleaning. It was a symbol of resilience, a source of camaraderie, and even the inspiration for folk music's steady beats. Yet, as the hum of washing machines filled modern homes, this beloved relic faded into history, its cultural echoes lingering. Speaking of utility on the brink of change, let's peek into the fascinating life of ration books. A silent witness to war and resilience, ration books embodied the spirit of shared sacrifice during the 1940s. These little booklets, filled with stamps, dictated the lives of millions, controlling access to essentials like sugar, meat, and gasoline. They were not mere papers, but symbols of unity.
Oh, by the way, this standing on line, gents, we picked up from the Army. And by the way, we'll be very glad to give it right back to you.
Urging citizens to adjust to scarcity with dignity, families exchanged recipes, concocting meals from limited supplies, and the black market buzzed with whispers of forbidden trade. But as wartime austerity faded, the daily need for such intricate systems vanished. Before the era of central heating, the coal scuttle was the unsung hero of hearth, a vital companion that ensured warmth in even the coldest of homes. This sturdy, often ornately designed metal container, brimming with precious black gold, coal, symbolized survival during harsh winters. Each trip to refill was more than just a chore. It was a ritual that connected families to the warmth of the home.
It's also a great way for you, if you've already got an ash dump in your fireplace or wood stove, to separate out the hot coals into this while you get the rest of the ash cleaned up.
The sooty footprints it left on floors were a testament to resilience and the daily effort required to ward off the chill. Yet as cleaner, more efficient heating methods emerged, the coal scuttle's role quietly faded, leaving behind only memories of a time when it was indispensable. But where heat has left its mark, food sustainability was taking root. Victory gardens, next. More than simply patches of green, victory gardens were powerful symbols of resilience and unity, springing up in backyards, rooftops, and vacant lots across the country. During World War II, these homegrown plots represented a call to action, a patriotic response to the demands of the war effort.
And young women, these girls are using part of their lunch hour to work on plots in their own factory grounds. Old men, even at 83.
As rationing limited access to fresh produce, families embraced gardening to grow their food, ensuring a steady supply of nutritious vegetables. Tending to these gardens became a communal activity, fostering connections between neighbors and offering a sense of hope and purpose during uncertain times. However, as the war ended and supermarket shelves once again brimmed with abundance, the necessity of victory gardens slowly faded into history. Wooden ice boxes, the precursor to modern refrigerators, were marvels of ingenuity. Crafted with insulated walls and compartments, they relied on large ice blocks to keep perishables cool. The ice delivery man became a familiar sight, lugging frozen blocks to households.
In your Frigidaire cold pantry, there's a place for all your food. Fresh and frozen, canned, bottled, and wrapped, new bought and leftover.
The constant need to replenish ice added a layer of daily responsibility, bringing neighbors together in shared routines. With the advent of electric refrigeration, these charming wooden boxes became quaint relics. Just as the icebox gave way to automation, so did the era of opening a beer can with a church key. Before twist-off caps and pull tabs, beer and soda cans required a unique opener called a church key. Introduced in 1935, these flat-top cans needed puncturing, and the church key's pointy end was the perfect tool for the job. One hole let the drink flow, while the second provided ventilation.
Did I shake it? Uh-oh. Let's learn how to use a church key.
The opener they give you doesn't... Oh, wow.
For younger generations accustomed to effortless cans, needing a separate tool feels almost prehistoric. And no, despite the name, this wasn't for unlocking chapels. The church key was a staple of its time, a relic from an era where even enjoying a soda required a little ingenuity. The hand-cranked egg beater was nothing short of a culinary revolution when it hit kitchens in the early 20th century. Before its invention, whipping, beating, and mixing were grueling manual tasks, often requiring significant effort and time. But with its rotating gears and simple design, the egg beater turned these once dreaded chores into a smooth, rhythmic process, an almost effortless task by the 1940 standards. Cooks could now easily beat eggs, mix batters, and whip cream, sparing their arms from the tiring labor of hand whisking. However, as electricity gradually infiltrated every kitchen corner, this beloved manual tool quietly faded into history. But where eggs were whisked, voices soared, thanks to vacuum tube radios. Bulky, warm, and glowing with soft golden light, vacuum tube radios were the beating heart of 1940s living rooms, casting a nostalgic charm on family gatherings. These towering devices weren't just technological wonders, but the lifeline connecting households to the world beyond their walls. Families huddled around them, captivated by live broadcasts of news, music, and thrilling radio dramas that filled the air with emotion and excitement. The tubes inside, fragile and prone to burnout, demanded careful attention, making each broadcast feel like a rare treasure. Then came the transistor revolution, ushering in an era of portability and durability and leaving vacuum tube radios as beloved antiques, symbols of a simpler, more intimate time. Before the age of photocopiers, mimeograph machines were the unsung heroes of classrooms, churches, and offices. These quirky devices used ink and stencils to produce copies with a unique smell and texture, leaving an indelible mark on history. Operating a mimeograph required fine-tuning stencils perfectly, cranking the handle right, and avoiding messy ink spills.
A spirit or fluid duplicator can quickly produce copies in one or more colors. This is sometimes called a direct copy process.
But despite their finicky nature, mimeographs played a vital role in democratizing access to information, making it easier to distribute documents, flyers, and newsletters to the masses. When photocopiers finally entered the scene, mimeographs quietly faded into obscurity, but their legacy of innovation remains. Before refrigerators became household staples, meat safes were the unsung heroes of food preservation in the 1940s. These ventilated cabinets, crafted from wood or metal with wire mesh panels, shielded meat from flies while allowing airflow to keep it fresh longer. They range from portable, hangable cages to sturdy fixtures in kitchens and pantries. A practical solution in an era without electric refrigeration, they stood as symbols of ingenuity and resourcefulness. Today, they're rare, sometimes repurposed as vintage decor or storage for non-perishables. Bakelite telephones were once the heartbeat of communication in the mid-20th century. Hefty, stylish, and iconic. Crafted from one of the earliest plastics, Bakelite made these phones incredibly durable and somewhat fragile if dropped. The distinctive rotary dials required patience, as each number was carefully dialed circularly.
That's the rarest model of the 300 series.
Their long coiled cords tethered users to a single spot, starkly contrasting the freedom we enjoy today. As the world embraced lightweight, cordless models, these once ubiquitous Bakelite phones faded into the background, now prized as vintage treasures by collectors who cherish their nostalgic charm. And while calls connected people, another daily delivery brought nourishment: milk bottles. Glass milk bottles, gently clinking on doorsteps at dawn, were a familiar sound that marked the milkman's arrival, a daily ritual that evoked warmth, comfort, and community. These glass bottles weren't just a symbol of freshness. They were part of an eco-conscious tradition, reused and recycled long before sustainability became a buzzword.
My town is home in the pleasantest sense of the word. From the early call of the milkman,
families cherished the idea of fresh, locally delivered milk, a simple pleasure that made morning special. But with the rise of supermarkets, plastic cartons, and the convenience of self-service, this charming practice slowly faded into memory, replaced by impersonal, mass-produced alternatives, and so the milkman's bell grew silent. Elegant, functional, and undeniably stylish, cigarette holders were once more than smoking accessories. They were an essential part of a glamorous lifestyle. Crafted from materials like bakelite, metal, and even glass, these sleek tools kept ash and heat at bay and made a bold fashion statement.
Un grog, s'il te plaît.
Tout de suite, monsieur le comte.
Qu'est-ce qu'il vous faut? Vous êtes toute seule?
Hélas.
During the golden age of Hollywood, stars like Audrey Hepburn and Marlene Dietrich elevated the holder to an iconic symbol of sophistication, seen in movies and on red carpets. However, as public health concerns surrounding smoking grew and taste shifted, these once coveted accessories gradually faded into obscurity, becoming relics of a bygone era. Speaking of sophistication, let's turn to the daily grooming ritual with safety razors. Safety razors were a true revolution in personal grooming, offering a safer, more efficient alternative to the daunting straight razor. Their replaceable single blades, razor sharp and economical, made them a staple for those seeking a precise, clean-shaven look.
Sir, shave a bit with each razor, please. In one razor, a Persona stainless, 7 shaves old. In the other, a well-known blade, brand new.
For decades, they were the go-to tool for achieving smooth skin without the risks associated with older, more dangerous methods. However, as technology progressed, the rise of multi-blade systems and electric razors promised faster, more convenient shaving experiences. As a result, the once ubiquitous safety razor gradually slipped into niche status, cherished by traditionalists but largely replaced by modern alternatives. Before the hum of vacuum cleaners, the trusty carpet sweeper was the hero of cleaning floors. This lightweight, mechanical marvel quietly swept through homes, hotels, and theaters, collecting crumbs and dirt without a power cord. Though largely replaced by vacuums, carpet sweepers still hold their ground in some spaces. Perfect for quick cleanups, they glide silently across carpets and floors, sparing sleeping babies, skittish pets, and busy patrons from any noise. Eco-friendly and electricity-free, these timeless tools remind us that sometimes the simplest solutions are the most effective. It's a forgotten gem, yet still a quietly enduring classic. Writers, students, and professionals once prized fountain pens. These elegant pens used ink-filled reservoirs and a nib to write smoothly on paper, offering a personal touch that ballpoint pens couldn't match. People often refilled them with ink and could choose different nib sizes for various writing styles. The ritual of maintaining a fountain pen, including cleaning and refilling it, was part of the charm. However, fountain pens became less common with the rise of more convenient and disposable pens. Still, for some, the art of writing with a fountain pen remains a cherished experience, evoking nostalgia for a slower, more thoughtful time. Hair nets were once indispensable for maintaining immaculate hairstyles, especially during an era when voluminous curls, elaborate updos, and perfectly set waves were all the rage.
And then you're going to place the hairnet and wrap.
These delicate yet practical accessories served dual purposes. They kept intricate coiffures intact and ensured hair stayed secure and hygienic in kitchens, factories, and other workplaces. Beyond their practicality, hairnets became a subtle fashion statement, worn discreetly for modesty or with flair to complement an outfit. However, as hairstyles shifted toward more relaxed and natural looks and societal norms evolved, the once essential hairnet gradually faded from everyday use, leaving a fascinating legacy of function and style. An outhouse was once a common fixture in many homes in the 1940s and 50s, especially before modern plumbing took over. It's a small standalone building with a toilet, usually a pit latrine or bucket toilet, located outside the main house. Though still used in rural or less developed areas today, outhouses were used in cities until the late 20th century. Especially in places like Australia. These simple toilets can lead to groundwater pollution if not properly maintained. Interestingly, old outhouse pits are now valuable to archaeologists, offering a glimpse into the past with artifacts that reveal daily life from long ago. In 1947, the invention of the transistor revolutionized technology, replacing clunky vacuum tubes with sleek, pocket-sized radios powered by compact batteries. By 1955, the transistor radio became a cultural icon, just as rock and roll exploded onto the scene. For the emerging teenager generation, it wasn't just a gadget, but liberation in plastic form. Affordable and portable, it allowed them to escape parental oversight, tuning into their world of music and identity. The transistor radio didn't just broadcast sound, it amplified a movement, giving youth their soundtrack and forever altering how music was consumed and shared. Dissolved in water to create a frothy, sudsy solution, soap flakes were once the unsung hero of household cleaning.
There's always a little bit of soap powder in there along with the flakes.
A staple for washing clothes, dishes, and even scrubbing floors, these flakes provided unmatched versatility in an era where prepackaged detergents were a rare luxury. Homemakers would measure and mix them by hand, creating the perfect balance of cleaning power with each load. Though incredibly effective at lifting stains and grime, the time and effort it took to prepare the solution made soap flakes less appealing than the pre-measured powders and liquids that emerged in the following decades, marking the end of an era. Back then, home canning supplies were a staple in many households, allowing families to preserve fruits and vegetables for the long winter months. People used jars, lids, and specialized equipment to seal and store their produce.
When applying to the jar, I will take my ring,
ensuring they could enjoy the flavors of summer throughout the year. It was a way to save money and reduce waste. However, commercial food production and refrigeration made this practice less common as the years passed. Now, we often turn to supermarkets for preserved goods. Yet, some may still reminisce about the satisfying process of sealing jars. And for those who love preservation, there's still another tool worth exploring. Imagine stepping into a 1940s office where a dictaphone cylinder dictation machine was a cornerstone of productivity. This fascinating device, rooted in 1920s innovation, captured voices on wax-coated cardboard cylinders, an upgrade from Edison's fragile tinfoil.
Salutations, Benjamin J. the Big Drummer Guy, making a test recording on an original dictaphone dictation machine.
Thanks to Bell and Tainter's ingenuity, spoken words could be preserved for later transcription, revolutionizing how businesses communicated. With foot pedals and hand cranks, the machine transformed conversations into lasting records. Today, it might seem like a puzzling artifact from a bygone era, but back then, it was a symbol of progress and the precursor to modern voice recording technology. Imagine a world without emails or instant messaging. Welcome to the era of telex. Popular from the 1930s to the 1990s, telex was a global communication network where operators typed messages into bulky machines, transmitting them over dedicated phone lines. It was the go-to tool for banks to send secure encrypted instructions relying on physical keys for symmetric key encryption. A forerunner of modern digital communication, telex provided a direct, tamper-proof link between businesses and governments worldwide. Though obsolete, it laid the groundwork for today's instant, secure communication systems, a relic of an analog past in our digital present. Before the convenience of modern can openers, opening a can was a slow and messy task. In the 1940s, many households relied on a simple but challenging tool. The can opener was like a piercing device with no crank or smooth mechanism. You'd repeatedly jab the sharp point into the top of the can, creating jagged edges along the way. It was a laborious task, often leaving behind a rough lid. This was the only option for most homemakers unless they could come with a handy key, which made the process a little less painful. Before balloon whisks dominated kitchens, the flat egg whisk reigned supreme in the 1930s and 40s. A marvel of simplicity, its sleek, flattened design fit snugly into kitchen drawers or hung neatly alongside spoons and spatulas. This whisk was perfect for mixing batters, whipping eggs, and creating sauces with finesse, all while saving precious storage space. Unlike the modern whisks with rounded wires, the flat whisk's compact shape was ideal for everyday tasks. Though largely forgotten, it's a charming relic of mid-20th century ingenuity that would likely puzzle today's kids accustomed to high-tech gadgets and balloon whisks in every kitchen. Powder compacts, small and elegant containers that held face powder, were once a staple in many women's purses.
Like a little book. It opens up to reveal a compartment for cigarettes and another one for rouge and face powder. I love that.
They were practical and often beautifully designed, with ornate mirrors and intricate patterns. The compact was used to touch up makeup during the day, offering a quick fix for a shiny face or boosting confidence. However, with the growth of modern makeup products and more convenient packaging, the powder compact slowly became a relic of the past. While still cherished by collectors, it no longer holds the daily necessity it once did, moving from beauty to another accessory that helped maintain appearance. Before pantyhose became popular, women used stocking garters to hold up their stockings. These bands, often elasticized, were worn around the thigh and kept stockings in place without seams or adhesive. For many, garters were a part of daily life, and their role in fashion was as important as their practicality. However, as tights and pantyhose gained popularity in the mid-20th century, garters fell out of use. Yet, they remain a symbol of vintage fashion. Before spray bottles became household staples, the 1940s introduced a humble yet ingenious tool, the clothes sprinkler. Designed for homemakers managing endless ironing chores, this gadget featured a perforated top attached to soda or glass bottles. It evenly moistened fabric to tackle stubborn wrinkles, a necessity when knitwear was rare and clothes dryers were non-existent. These sprinklers, simple yet effective, symbolized an era of resourcefulness. Weekly ironing sessions transformed into rituals of precision, ensuring every outfit looked pristine. Today, this relic of domestic ingenuity stands as a charming reminder of a time when homemaking was an art of dedication and creativity. Now, in the kitchen, a hand-powered device once worked wonders in an entirely different way. Meat grinders were once a standard item in many kitchens. They were used to grind meat manually for sausages, burgers, or other dishes. Operated by hand, they allowed families to prepare fresh ground meat from home, avoiding store-bought versions. While time-consuming, the process was satisfying and allowed for control over the quality of the meat. The manual grinder faded into obscurity as electric grinders and pre-packaged ground meat became more popular. Yet, it remains a symbol of self-sufficiency in the kitchen. Similarly, there was a time when creating duplicates of documents also required a hands-on approach with a unique tool. Carbon paper, was a key part of the office and home routine before the digital age. Used to create duplicate copies of documents, it was placed between sheets of paper and an imprint was left when writing on the top sheet.
Simple, right? So you would remove this and there you go.
This was a simple, effective way to produce copies for personal use or official records. However, with the advent of photocopiers and printers, carbon paper became obsolete. Though it no longer has a place in modern offices, the distinct sound of a carbon copy being made still brings back memories of a time when duplicating documents required a more tactile approach.